In this video tutorial, I am going to insert my flat slab for the foundation. By designing a flat slab foundation for this structure, I will show you the structure in 3D. This is the structure. Currently, it has no foundation. I'm going to insert a rough foundation around the building, and I will provide a 1 meter apron all around the building from this column, from the center line of this column. See um, how I explain this. This where my cursor is, this column, the center line of the column, I will my foundation slab will be 1 meter to the right of that column. From the center line of my external perimeter, I'm going to extend my foundation 1 meter from the perimeter. You will see what I mean by 1 meter apron when I when I insert my slab in the model. So to insert your slab in the model, I will use this procedure. I will select this grid here, grid line A1, and I will offset that grid by 1 meter. I'll create an offset at 1 meter, and I'll make sure that grid is set to not to plot, so that when I export my final rough foundation layouts to AutoCAD, the axis will not be plotted. I will update it. I will do the same thing for this axis. I'm extending 1 meter outward to create the perimeter of my raft foundation. I want my perimeter of my raft foundation to be 1 meter from the edge of the building, from the grid line. So that's what I'm doing right now. I will create an offset here too. I will make sure it's also set to not to plot. So that's what I'll do to all the grid line around my building. I'll select grid line E, and I'll create offset 1 meter down from that line. 1 meter. Click axis property, not to plot, update. Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Update, close. I'll do the same thing here too. Offset by 1 meter. Not to plot, update. There are two grids here in this column, but I'll choose the grid for the column, the center line of the structural grid for the column. So I've selected the structural grid for that column. Now offset it out by 1 meter. So I will offset by 1 meter. Axis properties set to not to plot, update. So I'll do that for everything in my model. Offset 1 meter. Not to plot. Select this slab grid, and I'll set it 1 meter to the left and set it to not to plot. So I've created the edges of my perimeter for rough slab. Now I'm going to insert the flat slab in my model by using the axis selection method. So what you do now, you click on the slab icon. So I'm clicking on it now. It's on the top of my screen where my cursor is. So this dialog box comes up. Now what you need to do, I need to specify the depth of my foundation. Say I'm using a depth of foundation of 700, or say 700. Concrete cover, because the foundation, let my cover be say 75 or 75, maybe 50. I'll go to a load tab. I'll calculate the self weight of our proposed slab from the thickness I specify, 700 mm. The additional dead load will be the weight of our soil on the raft foundation, and we know that the unit weight of our soil is 18 kilonewton per meter square from site investigation reports. The imposed load set it to 0. Now I will insert my slab in the model using this setting, but you need to change your insertion method to pick axis. So I'm going to pick my axis in the drawing area now. So I select this axis A2, axis 8, axis F, axis 6A, axis C2, axis 2A, axis D1, and axis 1A, and then the first axis I selected A2. So I've inserted my slab in the model now. I close this slab by dialog box. You will see a blue pattern around the grid line I just selected. The slab is not showing because I've actually hidden most of the slab element objects using my layer property tool. So I'll click on the layer property tool and I'll look for my slab item there. So I will say let my slab line show, my slab test, my slab yield lines, that's all. And I'll click OK. So this is my slab defined for the raft foundation. If you click on the 3D view, this is what we see. We are using a 700 mm deep raft foundation. So this is what it looks like. So now what we need to do, before I go to FE raft foundation analysis, I will draw my um, I will draw my I'll draw my strip for the raft foundation, and you do that by clicking on the slab strip on the top of your screen. I've clicked on it now, and I'll set the type to FE strip. Go to the FE tab and set the type to the fixed band strip. This fifth button here, I've clicked on it. It does not matter the setting, and you specify here at start and at end. So what you need to do, you need to draw strip at all important position location on this raft foundation. You draw strip at the support, that's a column support, as span, and in both the x and y, in both the horizontal and vertical direction. So I'm going to draw my first strip now in the x direction, from this point to this point. I'll do the same thing. I've drawn my strip. I've drawn strip. I'll draw another strip here. Saving interval. I'll do the same. I'll continue doing it like that. I'll continue doing it like that. Let me give it more spacing. I'll see. Okay, good. At this point, as support, there should be a strip here. Let me put one here. So that's my X strip. My Y strip, I'll draw a strip here. I'll do the same thing here. I'll do another one here. I'll do another one here. Just at critical location. I'll draw at the span. Let me see here. I'll draw one here, and I'll draw another one here. So let's see. These are the strip I've drawn for my raft foundation. At the end of the day, I will load all the strip, and I will use the greatest reinforcement area specified to design the whole area of the raft foundation. So I've drawn my strip. So what you need to do, you go to run and FE raft foundation analysis. Include column section in FE mode. Click raft foundation mesh analysis button. Set your uniformity factor to 100%, your plate element size to 1 meter, 1000 mm. Generate model. I've generated model. I will close. Short analysis is run by the Orion software. The analysis has finished, and Orion moves me to the second tab under the final element flow analysis. So here I will click on the analysis post-processing. Then what you need to do, I will check. The first thing I'll do when I open the analysis post-processing dialog box, I will check my bearing capacity. You check that your bearing capacity does not exceed 180 kilonewton per meter square. 180 kilonewton per meter square is our safe bearing capacity. So I click on the results and just look this contour display is for the settlement of the raft foundation, and you can see that the maximum settlement is 22 mm. It's shown on my legend here, 22 mm. I need to check the soil pressure. The soil pressure is at 156, which is very, very good. I'm getting a soil pressure of 156, which is less than 180. So I will adopt a 7. That means this area of raft foundation, proposed area of raft foundation is very good, and my thickness at 700 mm is also good. So I will adopt this plan area for my raft foundation. So what you need to do, you can check your reinforcements um, at the bottom in direction 1. Click on threshold contour to check the maximum reinforcement required, and it is seen that 2000 mm, about 2000 mm square millimeter square area of reinforcement is required. So 16. Oh, I need my for me to specify this reinforcement, I have to use 20 mm bar. I don't have 20 mm bar specified there. I don't know why. Before I do this, let me see if I can I will not click OK. I'll cancel because I don't want to carry out analysis on my strip yet. I'll go to back my first tab. I think I can edit material here, and I can specify my slab elements 20 mm here. I think OK. 20 mm, you tick this and you click OK. So I'll click OK again. Now I'll go to the second tab and I'll click on the analysis post processing button. So this dialog box will appear. I think I should have 20 mm available for to be selected when I want to check for the reinforcement on this interface. Go to result threshold contour for area. I want to I need 20. Oh, 20 mm is not still available, but um it's actually a problem. I don't know why 20 mm reinforcement is not available. I tried to make it available, but it's not available. This is a bug in Orion 18. I did set it earlier and now I cannot change the setting. This is actually not a problem, but it just what we are just doing here is just checking the reinforcements. It's not that we are specifying the reinforcement for the strip. So you can see when I use 16 mm at 150, the reinforcement provided is 1340, which is less than this. I need 20 mm reinforcement, say at 150, to get a reinforcement value greater than this. I'll click OK. So what you should note here that is important is that the reinforcement required in direction 1 is greater than is about 2000 mm square. I'll close this in direction 2. Edit contour is still in the 2000 mm square range, direction 2. So we use similar reinforcement at top and bottom. We use similar reinforcement at the bottom in both directions, and the size will be 20 mm bar. I'll check the top. The reinforcement required about 1000, close to 1000. This is 929 mm square. So this one I can specify T16 at say at 200. At 200 will be very okay. So you can see 1000 greater than the 929. So 16 mm will be okay in one direction at the top. At the other direction, I think it's also close to 2000. And we need 20 mm bar in the other direction at the top. So that's what you should note from here. So what I'll do now, I will close this. And when I close this, I will click OK. The result of this analysis will be transferred to all these line strip I have drawn. I'll click OK. This will take a long time to analyze, to transfer the analysis to a line strip. So what I'm going to do, I'll pause my laptop now and I will resume when the analysis is over. So I'm pausing I'm pausing this video now. After about 5 minutes, I'm at Y41. I think we made one more strip to analyze Y42. So the analysis will soon be over. Now I'm at Y42. About 20 seconds, the analysis will be over. So the analysis is over. Before I want to show you something before I close the dialog box. Let's say you want to know the service load on each of the column. You can click foundation load table here, and you see the load cases for each of the column. You can see the first two load cases are the dead and the imposed load. So you can determine that you can get the value of your dead and imposed load for all the columns. The columns are listed in this table. You can see column for the axial load for moments in one direction, moment in second direction. So I'll click close. I would say I want to check if I can edit my foundation value. Maybe I was looking at slab. Let me see if I can. And the Y20 is selected here. Y20 T20 is selected here, but it's still not available for my foundation design. I don't know why. I'll click OK. Click OK. um, OK. So what I'm going to do now? Can I load multiple? Okay, I cannot. You have to update each of the strip. You do that by going to the property of each strip and update. So when you do that, the reinforcement will be placed for that strip, and you will see you see the reinforcement required 150 and 150 and 150 center to center and another center to center using system member top and bottom. So you see the same number of bars all through with the same spacing. So this is for this area. So if I do 30, I'll update all the strip and we'll check the values. I will update I will update my strip. I'll update all my strip now. That's what I'm doing. This will take a while because I have many strip drawn. $26, good. Selecting it, updates, updates. So if you check the detail, yeah, we have 16 member at 150, 100, 150, 100, 150, 100. Okay. 150, 100. Let me check this span here. Okay, yeah. 150, 100, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 125, 150, 100. I'll check here. 150, 100, 150, 150, 150, 150, 125, 100, 150, 150, 150. Uh, so it means I'm going in the vertical direction. My reinforcement in the along the horizontal line along my direction one. I'm going to space it at 150 at the bottom, and I'll space it at 100 mm at the top. 16 mm bar. So what I can do now, this reinforcement, I will select this strip because I don't need it. I only need one of it. Okay. I know the reinforcement I need to cover so I'm going to place reinforcement to cover the whole of the rectangular area between grid A2 and C2. Rectangular area between A2 and C2 by adjusting this reinforcement colors. So I select the bottom reinforcement color, click on property. I can move the dimension length to somewhere here. You can see I've moved it. So I'll do this for all the dimension. I want this to be moved here, and it should extend close to the edge of this slab. Okay, I'll do the same thing. You do the same thing for all the dimension colors. So I want it to extend close to the edge of this slab. I'll select another call out, the dimension. I'll move it here, and I will select this point. I still have one more here. So I'll move it here. Select this colors. Now this. Send this here. So this is what we have. When you extend it, you see the number of reinforcement will increase. You can see this top bar now is 112 in that direction. So this is the reinforcement in the horizontal direction between grid A2 and C2. So for between C2 to D1, you adjust the reinforcement detail too. So I'll select this callouts property. I want it to start say from here. Click on this button again. Let it start here. I'll select the other dimension callout property. I'll move it away from the first callout, dimension callout. Now extend it say to this point. Extend the other end to close to the edge of the slab. So I've worked on this now. I'll do the same thing to this edge. I have two FE analysis 150, 150, 150. The top and bottom they are spaced at 150 center, 150 mm center to center. So what you only need one of these to specify reinforcement in this region. That is between grid line C2 and F and grid line F. So I'll select one of the callouts. I will extend the dimension callout to say this point. Okay, it's okay at this point. I don't need to stretch this point. It's already at the edge. And I will select this dimension callout. I'll move it say to this point and I'll stretch it to the end, to this grid line here. So I'll specify the reinforcement in the horizontal direction. In the vertical direction, I'll divide the vertical direction into three areas. This segment here between 1A and 2, 1A and 2A, between 2A and between 2A and 6A, and between 6A and 8. So between 1A and 2A, I'll use one of the reinforcement detail. I have 125 and 100, 125 and 100. So I only need one of it. I'll choose if here is say this call out here is saying 150, 150, and here is saying 100 and 125. I'll choose the one with the greater reinforcement value. That's the one with lesser spacing. This one, but however, the dimension detail are the same, so I'll just delete one of it, and I'll specify. I will stretch the dimension callout. Say to the edge of the slab, to the edge of this grid line. See somewhere here. I'll do the same thing to the other dimension. I will move it. Say somewhere here. No, that's not my intention. I want to move it here, and then stretch this end to close to this grid line. The other end I'll stretch it to the perimeter of the slab. So I've detailed this area now. I'll do the same thing from for area 2A to 6. I have 4 strips between 2A to 6. So you check this 150 at 100, 150 at 100, 150 at 100, also 150 at 100. They are the same area specification. So just delete one of it. You delete 3 of the strip and leave one. So I've deleted 3 strips and I'm left with this. So I will adjust this property. I will this dimension colored the left. I will extend it to the grid line. Do the same thing. Let me be closer. Okay. We do the same thing to the other end at so the green line does not extend upward. I'll just use my eye to place it, say somewhere here. Okay. So I'll pick the other callouts. I will move the dimension downward and I'll stretch its end. Say somewhere here and somewhere here. I'm done with with the left area between 2A and 6A. So from 6A to 6A to grid line 8, only have one strip. So I'll just stretch the end of the dimension callouts property. Take this end to say somewhere here. Say somewhere here. The other I'll pick the other dimension. I'll remove it. Say the downside will be separate. So this is how you detail reinforcements in raft slab. You can see I've provided reinforcement top and bottom in all the area now. So this is how we design raft. We analyze, design, and detail raft foundation on Orion 18 software. Let me see if I should cut a section. Let me see if the design is okay. Section, say section in the horizontal direction. I'll cut a section in the horizontal direction. I'll place it here. This is what shows. It's actually correct, but it's not closed at the side. So the elevation, okay, and the elevation is not correct, plus 600. This plus 600 is at the ground level. The elevation is not correct. So I'll just remove the section because Orion 18 did not get the information. It didn't depict the section well, and the elevation label is wrong. I'll just delete it. So this is reinforcement. This is the reinforcement detail drawing for the raft foundation on Orion 18 software. So what you can do now, I can export this drawing to AutoCAD using this DSF button, but I'm not going to do that in this video tutorial session. I'm going to explain how you export this drawing to AutoCAD in my next video tutorial. So I'll click. This is how my 3D view will look like. Don't mind the appearance of my 3D view. I made some editing to the 3D view appearance. As you can see, this is my foundation model for the flat raft flat raft design. You will see the 1 meter apron at the perimeter of the building in 3D, and the essence of the perimeter is to reduce the soil pressure beneath the foundation. The soil pressure must be lower than the bearing capacity of the soil. If I didn't provide apron, you will see that the soil pressure, which is exerted on the raft foundation, the soil pressure transmitted to the soil will exceed the bearing capacity of my soil, which is 180 kilonewtons. So to reduce this soil pressure, I increase the perimeter of my raft foundation at the perimeter. In my next video tutorial, we shall export the structural details of this flat raft foundation type to AutoCAD. Thank you for watching the video.